Hey everyone, welcome to the UVD Weekly Wrap-Up, the show where the team from UrbanVinylDaily.com goes over everything there is to know in the designer toy, art, street art, and Sofubi world. I'm your host, Travis Likens.
And I'm Ben Pierce.
And we have a special guest joining us via this picture.
From the bathroom.
From beyond.
He's in the bathroom right now with a microphone.
It's the token nerd.
It's the token nerd, Mr. Anthony
Pettiford.
Thank you for having me on.
And we're here with a special episode to talk about
Dolphins.
No, not dolphins. To talk about...
Dang it, I only prepped for a dolphin talk.
Dang it.
Bottlenose.
Is this like in that...
Beluga.
Is this like that South Park episode where his dad wanted to be a dolphin?
I thought we were talking about the Manatee think tank.
Oh, no. That was a bad episode, by the way. But anyway, back to the topic at hand. Everyone's favorite or least favorite topic, depending on your side of the picture,
Parents.
flippers.
Dolphins.
Nope, no dolphin flippers. You know the people that go and buy things and then put them on the internet at a higher or sometimes grossly higher price?
Those people suck.
Yeah. We need to get money out of punkatics. I'm trying to think how to say politics and pops at the same time, but
Pop politics.
pop politics, thank you.
Yep. So here we are today to talk about the flippers of the world. Everybody's dealt with this. There's been a toy that you've really wanted and have not got. Maybe it's not a toy. Maybe it's something else. And then you went to the old eBay.
And there they are.
Damn it.
If only you would pay $17 times more than they cost, it could be yours.
All right. Well, I'll start off this conversation real quick because I'm very much against.
Hey, you're the guest. You go last.
No, I'm going to go first.
No. He's got a good against me point.
Yeah.
So let him go first.
Well, so for example, there was a Target exclusive Funko Pop figure that came out. It was a Batman of Azahar. I think that's how you pronounce it, but it's the Batman that has a little bit of red and purple on it. Only at Target. And it was very exclusive. It was hard to find. People were going to the stores, like waiting for the trucks to ship them in. Like I waited outside our Target waiting for it to come in. They never came. But the second day that they were out in stores.
How did you voice your displeasure at the Target truck?
Oh, well, let's just say I have to go to Springfield now. But no. So the second day, it was online for $460. It's a $10
I was going to
pop.
say, is this a $10 pop figure?
$10 pop. I've seen it. The
Did
lowest
you buy it?
I saw.
Did you buy it at $460?
The lowest
500?
I saw was $65. But there's even so far, I've seen some of the. Let's see. It's not even the pop that's out yet. There's an exclusive pop that's coming out for Dragon Ball Z that's going to be at SDCC. People already have it online for $300.
Yeah.
And
So another good example of that is actually there's a kid robot figure that's the Homer Simpson Mr. Sparkle. It's actually already, it's going to release at SDCC, but it is not an SDCC exclusive. So there are retailers taking pre-orders for it right now, but they're on eBay for $30, $40 more than you can pre-order it from a retailer.
that's crazy.
Because people see that SDCC exclusive, and it's not an exclusive. It's just releasing there.
Yeah. And
they see that on there, and they're like, oh my God, I got to have it. And they pay extra money for it when they could have just Googled around and found something somewhere else.
Go ahead.
But
you know a sucker's born every minute if they're buying it like that.
Yeah, that's true. But as for flippers and the health of the scene, I think flippers are good for things like designer toys, pop vinyls, any collector market, really, shoes, whatever it is. I think it's good in a way that you want your stuff. The collector wants to know that their thing has value. So if people are paying $65 for something that only costs $10, that means if you got a hold of one, you can feel like when you put it on your shelf that, oh, it held its value. Now, I'm a collector that tends to buy things that I only want, but I still, from time to time, like the feeling to know that if I ever had to sell something because of I had a car crash or something, I got to pay some medical bills or something, I have something that people actually want. So I didn't buy something that, oh, I'm stuck with it forever. Like if my taste ever changed, I could sell it too. And I wouldn't be one to sell something for 17 times what it cost, but it'd be nice to know I could at least get out what I put in, or maybe a little more for,
I can see what you're saying. But the only side that I can see benefiting is the retail side, so the store. And so I'm going to come at this from a Funko Pop or even just regular toys that you have.
Yep.
I know one was the TMNT toys, the new release of the 80s figures.
Yep.
They got them in shelves. I think it was in Orlando, I believe, and people just come in. One guy comes in and just buys out the entire thing, drops $1,000 or $500,
Yep.
and then resells it. I understand what you're saying, like you can sell your figures and then a car accident, but that's one figure, and you aren't taking a toy that you just bought,
Yeah,
and then reselling. I'm talking about flippers who are the reason that the signs at Hot Topic say
2 per customer.
2 per customer, because people go in, buy the entire stock, and then you can't get it.
Yeah, but like the thing about it is like there's no way like they go into Hot Topic. There's 5 million pops, right? Like there's a pop for everything. Like maybe 5 of the 50 they might buy might be worth like more than $10.
Yeah, well, there's always the chase figure,
Yeah.
and that's
the one. Like
that's the one you want. But like I'm talking about is when last year at SDCC, the Golden Frieza figure came out for Funko Pop, and I remember you sent me a link saying, "Hey, it's out there." And I got down to Hot Topic, and the guy was like, "Yeah, we just sold like 16 of them. We only got 16 out of the 3 boxes." And some guy just came and bought them all. And then you get on eBay, and he's selling them all for, I think it was $45 each, and they're $12 at Hot Topic. Or
You should have asked for his credit card number and just
I just
charged.
found him.
just found them.
But no, one store I heard of, it was a Hot Topic. Person was fired, granted, I know that much, but he was a manager, and the Golden Smog Funko Pop figure came out, and he just took them before they even sold them. He put them off to the side for himself, paid for them at the retail cost, and then flipped them for $300 each, and people bought them.
Yeah.
I mean,
People like designer toys like Kid Robot and stuff like that went through a similar phase maybe like 5 years ago. A little bit longer than that, maybe closer to 8 or 10, where like every release there were people lined up for it, there were people buying it, and people were selling them for not some of that crazy prices, but some of them were going for like seriously a lot more money than you paid for them, and people used to get mad about that. But now Kid Robot, if a Kid Robot release sells out, it's not as common as it used to be when the flippers were involved in the market. And to me, hanging, peg hangers, which is the action figure term for something that's not selling, is not good for anybody. Like the Funko Pop figures that you go to Hot Topic and look at that have been there for 6 months and they're starting to get dirt on them are not good they're not good for Funko. They're
Or
not,
the Star Wars Black.
yeah, or the Star Wars Black figures. You go in and you see, Princess Leia, a slave Leia that's still hanging on the pegs, or a Greedo that's still hanging on the pegs, and you're like, this is not good for the brand. It's not good for, it's not good for the scene. It's not a thing that people aren't just going to stumble in after 6 months and find the same 4 figures and be like, well, I guess I'll finally buy this Greedo. Maybe it'll go away. Like that's not going to happen. And the Star Wars Black figures for the Force Awakens, they had the huge push for them initially because you could only get 2 or 3 of them.
Yeah.
And now, like, you go to Toys R Us or Target or any place like that,
it's the same 5 figures.
it's the same 5 figures. It's the one nobody wants. And it's weird because one of them is a Stormtrooper it's not a Stormtrooper, but the new version of a Stormtrooper. One of the Flame Troopers or something like that. They're always there. And you're like, these are the figures that you think would sell out because there's so many people that just collect the Trooper figures. So,
Yeah. Well, can I actually respond to that real quick? And I'm going to keep bringing up Funko Pops. So when you were talking about how kind of the flippers buying them was good and gave your figure value, I will argue against that because, and like you said, for let's say the Finn figure, the Finn Star Wars Black figure came out on Star Wars Day. It was what was the day called?
Oh, the Force Friday.
Force Friday, thank you. Well, we stood out in line, and all the Finn figures were gone because everyone wanted the Finn figure. Well, the second wave that came out, they said, okay, even though, granted, we only had like 5 or 6 figures that came out in that first wave, they were like, hey, everyone wanted the Finn figures, so we're going to make more. When really there are a lot of flippers who went out, bought a ton of toys, and then resold them online. Well, they sold out of Finn figures, and so they're like, okay, so the Finn figure is the one that's selling the most. Let's make more of those.
There's no way
Suckers.
there's no way they turned it around that quick though. Like they had to have that planned, because like toy production can't react to that amount of turnaround, because the figure itself, like the waves for black figures are generally quarterly. So they release like once a quarter, they'll send out a new wave of black figures. There's no way that in a quarter time frame they could turn around production and say, hey, we had this plan, pull back the logistics, pull back everything. It just wouldn't happen. So they obviously had that planned, and they maybe created a false shortage to make you think that you needed it, because hype is what all of this collector market rolls off of. If there's not hype around something, then generally it is not selling.
Well,
so Funko Pop is surrounded with hype. And that's why right now there's so many people chasing after. There's people that are like chasing down CVS or Walgreens semi trucks or Target semi trucks trying to get these exclusives.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying, like, now we only see Finn figures.
Yeah.
I'm not saying like the second wave that immediately came out. I'm just saying that the next round, like, that's why we see a ton of Flame Troopers, all the ones that were very popular in that very first night.
Oh,
that data is what they're
Finn was
is what they're focusing on. And so, like I'm saying, for the Funko Pops was Golden Frieza was a big one. I got one for Christmas. Addison bought it for me for $30 because it was the one I really wanted. And I mean, people were buying them and then selling them online. And so Addison spent a ton of money on, not a ton, but more than you normally sell it for. And then now Hot Topic and Funko were like, okay, well, people really want that figure because it sold out so quickly. So now we're going to make tons of them. So now they're on shelves. So now it took down the value of my figure.
Yep.
So that's what I'm saying. So the more...
Yeah, but where I'm kind of going with it is anytime something sits, like if there's an initial rush to something and then it sits, it deflates the entire market because there's no money in it for the flippers. So like then the whole market starts to tank because people start to see, oh, that thing used to be $50. Now it's 15. Well, there's no money in that anymore. So then it takes away interest in whatever the collectible is.
So I'm confused now. Are you for flippers or against flippers?
I'm for flippers, but I'm not for paying flippers. So here's my conundrum. They are a good sign of health for the scene. That means there's people looking at it, people trying to get into it. But I'm also not a fan of buying anything for more than retail. That's just because that's me.
Because you're cheap.
Because I'm cheap. And I want to pay what it costs. And I'm a big proponent in our scene. It's a little different for you. But I'm a bigger proponent in putting my money in the hands of the people that created the item. So I would rather pay directly to the artist or to the company that created the piece so that they get the money and there's not a third party involved in it.
Okay, but
that's a whole nother thing.
Okay, I feel like we should talk about flippers as in a mass production sense for what you guys look at. So for every Funko Pop, there's, for every 1,000, there might be 2 figures of what you guys collect. So there is a commodity for yours. There is a purpose to have yours. Whereas in, toys you get at Walmart or black figures, pop figures,
the
all
people
those.
that just go in and, there's one Harley Quinn in the case, or there's one Wonder Woman in the case as a more recent example. And that Wonder Woman that was $20 is now 60 because 15 people went in and bought every Wonder Woman they could find because there's one in a case. And now you can't find a Wonder Woman.
Well, businesses can't help themselves. It's like the original line of Batman, the animated series figures came out. They only put one Harley Quinn per like 5 boxes, and they never made more of her. So she got to go for a high price. And they could say, okay, let's do the same thing. We'll make, Urban Violent Daily toys. We'll have Travis, Ben, Anthony, but Anthony's not always in it, so we're gonna make one of him.
Why isn't he?
Huh?
He's not always in.
There's a little bit more paint that goes in for me, but so you guys sell out. There's one of me, and they're like, "Oh, well, people are really fighting to have me," so they make more of me, and then there's no purpose to it because now there's everywhere. There's nothing special about having that figure, and the thing that people are gonna pay more is the harder it is to get it. I mean, think about it. People are gonna pay $300 extra on a figure because of metallic paint. Something you could do yourself, but it's only because nobody else has it.
And so in another sense of market is that like in the case of Pop, the reason flippers exist is because there's customers. So there's people that are paying this money. There has to be. Or there's some that just sit on eBay for months and months and nobody buys them. but the price just stays. There's a lot of stuff like that too.
Mm-hmm.
But there has to be a customer. There has to be people buying this stuff. So like a great example is I collect Mutant Vinyl Hardcore pieces and I collect Paul Kaiju pieces. Usually in the releases, it's like 25 to 40 that they release, right? Their lotteries get 1,200 people entering them.
I would love those kind of numbers.
Like there's like 1,200 entries for 40 things at the most.
Mm-hmm.
Like not everybody's going to get one. So there's a market, like a ridiculous market for these things. And like, you'll see them figures that cost $200 go for 800 or 1,000
Mm-hmm.
or 1,200. Like just because there's so many people that want the figure.
But we're also talking about a completely separate demographic of buyers because
But they're the same. There's always going to be people that pay extra money. So like companies have combated this in the past. When the shoe market, like for like Jordans and Nike and things like that, when it expanded and started pulling in more and more people and selling out every week instead of things just sitting on the shelf, Nike decided they were going to raise prices in order to combat flippers, right?
yeah.
Oh, because if there's not a big a profit margin, there won't be these people going and buying 10 pairs of shoes and trying to put them on eBay, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, the prices for the flippers on the shoes just went up. So then people were still paying because people have to have that thing. So like, as long as people are still paying, there is still a market for flippers, which means you still have a healthy market because there's not enough product for the customers. Because if flippers are selling stuff for, we'll say $100 more than it cost, that means that there was at least one other person that didn't get that item over $100. So like there's always got, as long as the market is healthy, there's always going to be flippers.
And I believe that, but I also believe with the, we'll call it an outbreak, not outbreak, that's not the right word, but the higher numbers of, like I said, you're always going to have flippers like you just mentioned, but the more and more, like people are actually saving up to get more, let's say Funko Pop figures. We're going to run out of the point where they're just going to keep making them faster.
Yep.
And so, like, there are a lot of people online who look up and say, I'm not going to pay $60 for this figure. I'll just wait.
Yeah, because Funko, they don't usually put like limited amounts on them unless they're like Comic-Cons or like Hot
And that's
Topic
only for a
exclusive,
couple
right?
months. And
Yeah.
then they open it up.
Oh, okay.
So, you know, that's going to fall on the wayside. That's why they keep making these exclusive figures. Like, you have to get the metallic one or, you know.
Or 3 of the same figure in different colors. Like the
I
bears.
had a problem, okay?
No, like the bears, whatever
Oh,
they
yeah,
were.
that too.
Yeah.
I'll talk about my Batman figures.
So we've
We have
been
20 of them.
yes. So we've been
18.
19.
we've
Round
been
down.
pretty talkative about Funko and things that I collect, but Ben, you're kind of big in the print world.
Yes,
So-
I am.
So what do you think about flipping in the print world?
I mean, prints, vinyl, resin, it's all things that the artist benefits from. Say they come out with like a Jungle Book print that has just generic Jungle Book, come out a couple weeks later with a variant that has one of the characters accented more than the others. It's still a Jungle Book print. They sold out. People are flipping the regular. Oh, people are going after the variant now because it's more hard to get.
Yeah, sought after.
So it's still the same print. Variants, it's flippers are going to flip, and because
Flippers going flip.
Flippers be flipping.
even when there's 600 of a print, there's much more than 600 people that either want the print or just do it to put it on eBay anyway.
Yeah.
So
And I think in that world, as similar to Mutant Vinyl Hardcore or some of the more collectible items that we deal with in the art side, as long as there's people flipping items for $600 for, we'll just say a print that you want that's $100 and they're flipping it for $2. As long as people see that on eBay, it helps that artist with their next sale because like it's telling people that, oh, it's cool enough that it's worth more money.
and what it seems to do is it seems to leverage popularity.
Yeah.
Like if, say, Vinyl World, there's a Hucky, like when he did the Gold Life.
Yep.
Those are and were popular, but I mean, for all accounts, they were just a regular Dunny series. They had extra accessories on them, but I'm sure if you went on eBay now or
There's still
to any
some
of the
super
forums,
valuable ones, I'm
it's
sure.
still super valuable.
Yep. I heard a comment from Sucklord on his podcast where he kind of talked about peg hangers in his own store. Like he doesn't think it's good for business to leave something up there that's not selling out because it gets people thinking like, oh, I want to buy this thing, but look, he's got like 6 things that aren't sold out here. Maybe he's not cool anymore. Like it gets people thinking like if you have stuff just sitting there that's not selling, that maybe your time is over. And I can see the same thing with like pop figures or any kind of mass market thing. It makes you say, oh, there's a lot of Star Wars black figures hanging there. Maybe they're not popular anymore. Like people aren't buying them. So I can see how it goes. I think sellouts are good, and people trying to flip things on a secondary market creates more hype for future releases for specific things. Because everybody's looking for the next $300 pop figure, you know, like, so it keeps people interested in the items is where I think flippers come in handy.
No, I understand that. I mean, like for as the buyer, still against
Sucks.
flippers.
Yeah,
Sucks.
flippers suck for the buyer. They really do. I've been looking for a Toxagon for 2 years, and I cannot bring myself to pay the $800 that they've flipped up to when they're like a $250 figure. You know, if you get lucky and get to be one of the 20 or so.
It was
people
like
that
for
get
your
one.
your stupid birthday. Try to buy you a reverse Flash figure.
Yep.
Literally, a guy bought it right before I did. I said, "Hey, can I buy that from you?" And he wanted to put a $50 plus charge on what he paid for it.
And now when I went to Target, they had 2 peg hanging.
Really?
Yep,
Just when was the last time you were there?
like 2 weeks ago.
Ah, dang! I was gonna say
Yeah.
we might put a hold on the Token Nerd episode.
It's
So
probably still there.
But I mean, in closing,
So,
I think
so far we've heard flippers are good, flippers are bad, and apparently I have flippers are ugly.
flippers are ugly. I mean, in closing, because we don't want this to drag on too long, because you'll just kind of beat a dead horse. I think in some aspects of the scene, which is not buying, flippers are good for any collector market because they're showing people that there is still interest in that market. If you're looking for something that they're selling, not good. Like,
Don't do it.
It's not good.
Make them
Don't
starve.
like. There's people out there that'll pay. Generally, they're probably preying on people that are new to the scene or don't know what they're buying. They're just like, oh, that's really cool. Okay, here's $300 or here's whatever. I mean, I know some collectors have to have everything, but I mean, most people probably have moved on to, you know, I could just hold off on that. There'll be something else come along.
I'll let you in on a secret. If it's an artist that's doing this, chances are they have a couple in their hand for an artist proof. Don't feed the flippers.
Yeah. So just keep your eyes peeled and things like that. Anthony, pop figure flippers. Final thoughts.
Final thoughts?
Yeah.
Are you becoming one?
Oh no! I have a soul. No.
Do you want to be a kaiju flipper like Travis?
I am not a kaiju flipper.
Well, he just said that all of his pieces are worth $1,000. You just buy a couple and just flip them for days. Pay your rent for a
Flippers
year.
be flipping. No, like I said, I'm still against it. It just makes it hard for me to get a figure because I'm not going to go online and pay an extra $30.
Yeah.
That's just me. And then it just makes it so that when Funko finally does their mass wave, which they're probably going to do anyway, but I'm going to blame the flippers for that. It makes it so it makes the purchase for me less important. It's just like with Suicide Squad. I was so excited for it, and then we have 6 variants of Harley Quinn.
Let me ask an important question. For something that's worth $800 or something that's worth $300, what's it going to be worth in 30 years?
Yeah, that's the real question. Like, is it going to be are they?
Squat.
I mean, are they going to be the Beanie Babies of the future? Like,
Oh,
or-
I know they are. I mean,
Yeah.
I have a back closet full of boxes where I'm just like, I could have bought,
A car.
yeah, my medical bills could have been paid for, but no. I'm all about the here and now, baby.
So that explains why you don't have any of your legs.
Yeah, right.
That's why you had to come in via picture.
Shoes are expensive.
But I mean, really, just to wrap it up, what's your thoughts, people out there in TV land? Tell us in the comments or shoot us an email over to urbanvinyldaily@gmail.com. If you want to comment on our Instagram, it's at urbanvinyldaily. Let us know what you think about flippers, where your thoughts are. Are they good? Are they bad?
Are they ugly?
Or are they ugly? That's really it. But as always, I'm Travis,
I'm Ben.
And I'm the token nerd Anthony.
and have a great designer toy day. Hey everyone, this is Travis Likens from Token Nerd Podcast, and I'm here today to tell you something about sponsorship. That's right, Token Nerd now has a sponsor. The fine folks at TenaciousToys.com, your source for designer toys, pop vinyl, original art, and more, are now our sponsor. And guess what? As a part of that, you can get 10% off your next order at TenaciousToys.com by entering the code TOKEN10 at checkout. That's right, 10% off. And not only are they giving you this code, they're also going to be sponsoring many of our Token Nerd giveaways in the next coming months. So make sure to follow us at token_nerd on Instagram to catch our latest giveaways.